Hello and welcome to the Sunbirdcrochet podcast. My name is Claudia and I'm coming to you from Germany. I've just came back from a 2-week holiday to the island of Borkum, which lies in the North Sea. It's one of the East Frisian islands, and in fact the most westernly one. It's the one closest to the Dutch islands. It's very small, the island, and you take the ferry either from Emden, which is in Germany, or from Eemshaven, which is in the Netherlands, and then you take a 1 to 2 hour boat trip, a ferry trip to the island, where a little tram awaits you, and you drive with a little tram into the town center, and from there on the people spread to their hotels, and there are sandy beaches and lots to discover and lots to walk around, and it is quite a touristy place, but I really enjoyed my time there, and I would like to share some impressions from the island and from a place called Greetsiel, which I've visited before I went to the island of Borkum, and I made a little stop in between in the Netherlands and visited a castle with a water moat. So let's have a look at those, shall we? I'm going to start in chronological order, and I first went to Greetsiel, which is a little fishing village. It used to be close to the sea, but now you have to take a little bit of a boat trip until you reach the open seas, the open waters, but it still has a big harbor, and the shrimp boats are still moored there, and they are still going for shrimp hunting or catching, and it's especially interesting when they come back with their catch. Greetsiel has a very old church and very old buildings and cobblestone streets, and we stayed in a very modern and recently built hotel, which was only 200 meters from the town center. It was perfect. It was luxury, yes, but it was also my present to my mother for Mother's Day. So we stayed there for 2 nights, and we really enjoyed our stay there. It's the Achterom Hotel in Greetsiel, and I highly recommend that one. And well, we visited Greetsiel. I took quite a lot of videos, and I've uploaded them to YouTube in smaller sections, and I made them unlisted, but I might either list them properly so that you can see them, and if you want to, you can look at them, or I might actually make a combination of all the little videos which I took and make one big one, but shortening the lengthy bits. We will see. So Greetsiel, I don't want to bore you with the history bits, and I don't have them in memory anyway, but it was really lovely. The main building material there are red bricks, and it has quite a Dutchy influence. So from the Netherlands, the influence with the high gables onto the front of the street, and also the traditions are the same, I would think. Once we were on the island of Borkum, most of the Borkum people 150 years ago and before went to work for the Dutch companies who traveled up to Greenland to catch whales, and it's quite a history full of seafaring people, pirates even, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still in Greetsiel, shrimp boats, fishing village, also seafaring people. So that was Greetsiel. from Gretzil. We made a couple of day trips. One was to the lighthouse of Pilsum, which is not very big. It's yellow and red, and I had the birding ID app with me on my phone, and I caught about 15 new bird species all around the lighthouse. It's a nature reserve and a bird reserve, if you want to say so, and it's also, the whole coast is the, well, it's the Wadden Sea, which is a heritage site, I believe, and it means that it gets a long time of low tide and you can walk over the sea floor, and then you have to be careful to be back again or wherever you wanted to go, because the sea comes back, and then where you walked before, it's covered with the sea, with with water. So that's the Wadden Sea, and it's a very flat piece of countryside, I must say. It's also quite lonesome at times. You have very far views. You have lots of sheep. We saw sheep, lots of them. And the sea air is there. It's very fresh, and lots of birds as well. And I enjoyed myself. We visited a town called Pevsum, and in Pevsum we visited the Maninga Burg, which is it's the castle of a tribe of Maninga, who were East Frisian counts, and even before clan chiefs, that kind of thing. They had a feud with the Hanse, with the biggest trading company at the time in the Middle Ages. This is what it looks like today. So that's the place name, and that's the castle's name, and it's a museum these days, and it's full of history of the area and of the family of the Maninga. And in fact, Queen Victoria, and therefore also Queen Elizabeth II and Charles III, her son, they are all related to this family, as well as the Dutch royal family. So not only the British monarchy, but also the Dutch monarchy. They have, in the past, some of these people in their blood, in their bloodline. Also in Pevsum, we also went to a shop in Pevsum called Seitenweise. Bücher und mehr. That's a bookshop. They've also got wool. Tolle Wolle. I've bought there a couple of things. I've bought some socks. They are handmade locally from a crafter in Pevsum. She's selling her knitting in the shop, Seitenweise. You can't miss this shop if you go to Pevsum. It's in the center of a town, just about 50 meters from the Maninga Burg. And it's at the roundabout opposite Edeka. Just in case you are German and watch this in English. Now, I don't know what kind of wool this is. I would say that it's one of these self-striping yarns. So you don't have to do anything. It does the whole work for you. This is supposed to be my size 38. But I believe it's bigger. It might have been 38 if without the toe. So I still have to try them on. and I will show you if they fit or not. And if they don't fit, I have to find someone who will be happy about new socks. Then my mother discovered that the same knitter, or one of the knitters from Pevsum, they are making these little stitch markers. They are knitted, and there is a little pearl at the bottom of the heart. So we've got a red one and a Christmassy green one with a red pearl. And then we've got a mild one in turquoise. And a blue and pink one. They've all got a little pearl at the bottom or on the top, just like this one here. A blue one. So 3 for my mother, 3 for me. We still have to talk about which one gets which. So that's that. So we talked about this and this. I've also bought some of this yarn at Seitenweise shop in Pevsum. This is Atelier Citron yarn, and I don't have the ball band with me anymore. It's quite stretchy. I wanted to make the new shawl design by Faye, who's Faye Hughes. But I got frustrated with the stitch and the beginning of the shawl, and it's not the pattern is written beautifully, and she gives you all the help you might need in photos, in videos, in how she describes it perfectly well. It's just, it didn't get me. I bought the pattern and I will make this eventually, but I didn't this time. So I had this yarn, 3 balls of yarn. This is what I've left over, and I made instead I made a shawl, a pattern by Hannah, who is the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcaster, and I made her Treasure Island shawl in a smaller version. So this is my new project, a finished shawl. I've alternated the pattern because I didn't add this pattern there as well on either side. I just kept it plain and only added the extra stitch pattern in the middle, and also it is smaller than the pattern because I was afraid to run out of yarn. I might have added 2 or 3 more rows, but it's fine like that. I can wear it like this, a small shawlette like this, which is perfectly fine for me. And I could also, let's not throttle myself. I could also wear it like a little shawl, like a fancy shawl here on the side, like a French cutie. How about that? So I'm very happy with this shawl, and I thought, okay, I've made this shawl, I'm done with it. I've made this shawl before, by the way, and very happy. It was just what I needed, a simple stitch combination for my holiday. And then but we will come back to my next project, which I started. Let's put this away. So that was my Pevsum wool Atelier Citron project. We've talked about that. Okay, after Pevsum, we stayed there for 2 nights. We went for a 1-night stay to, I'm going to butcher this name, Uthusmederen, something like that. It's a small town close to Emshaven where we were going to take the ferry the next day, and we only stayed there. I booked the hotel because the ferry was scheduled for 10:15, and I didn't want to get up at 3 a.m. to catch the ferry. So we stayed there in Uithuizen, and we visited Menkemaborg, which is this. It's an old castle, also with a moat, and it has formal gardens there. It was so pretty. It has a garden from about 1705. The land was bought in 1682, and the person who bought the land was Mello Alberda, and he has a son. Mello has a son, and he is called Unico Allard, who married Everdina Cornera van Berum in 1701. So then they changed this building to what it is now, and the gardens were supposed to be a copy or smaller copy of Versailles gardens, and there's a garden plan from 1705, so it's a very formal garden, geometrically planned. And this is the garden today, with a building here in the center, and there's the moat around, and the gardens go around as well. And there is a maze garden, which I missed when I was there, but we had seen so much, it doesn't matter. I didn't want to get lost in the maze garden. It's really beautiful, and the building is filled with historical items, not necessarily exactly from the family Alberda, but they get loans from, for instance, the Museum of Groningen, and they display it there, and then that's a display which changes, so they get different displays and they advertise for it. At the moment they had a special on animals around the castle, so they had some stuffed animals in the castle, like a stuffed dog and a stuffed cat, and there was even a stuffed Fledermaus, what's it called? Bat, a stuffed bat. Yeah, so very well worth the visit, but take my advice, only get a drink at their restaurant. The food is awful. In fact, we were both a little bit sick afterwards. But let's like move on to the island of Borkum, right? So after 3 nights of playing around in other places, we took the ferry to Borkum, and we went to our hotel. We had booked the hotel room together with breakfast, which was a perfect combination. Last year we stayed there and we had supper as well, and that was not to recommend. We wanted to be free to choose wherever we wanted to eat, and even if it means to go to the supermarket and get ourselves a yogurt and a roll or something. So we stayed there until yesterday. I am freshly back from the holidays and I'm still feeling like I want to go back right away again. We had some spectacular sundowns and the weather treated us well. In the first week we did have some heavy rain and it was chilly, so I bought myself a new jacket. But the rest, even the last days, they were really hot and I got a bit of a sunburn even on my otherwise quite pale arms. So yeah, very sunny, and I will put at the end of this video a snippet of the best sundown we had there. Well, it's a hard choice to make, but I think you will enjoy that specific sundown for the light and the kite surfer. And yeah, I will do that at the end of this video if you want to watch that. So let's rather talk about what project I've started on the island of Borkum, because the place last year I went to, they've got one place on the island with some wool. Well, you can buy acrylic yarn at Woolworths there, but there is a shop which sells underwear, nightwear and wool, and it's called C.H. Meyer. And I've bought some yarn there. You could get some Indie Dyers yarn. It was North Sea themed even, but I didn't like the way it would crochet up. It was, well, it was changing color, but not slow enough so that it would look good in crochet. So I decided to go for a unicolor, and I bought this yarn here, and I'm holding this together with this mohair yarn. And I wanted to make this time the scarf designed by Faye, but again I don't know what it is. Instead, I've started to make another Treasure Island shawl. Look at the halo. You might not see it very well, but it's really soft and I really like the color. And with the mohair, the stitches are not so, you don't get so much, well, it looks smoother. It looks smoother, I think. And I've bought again 3 times this yarn and 2 times this yarn. And you might ask yourself, that's not very precise. So what yarn is it? Hang on. It's in my Dachshund bag. This is Landhaus by Citron. And it is the color 2509, and it is 80% merino wool and 20% polyamide. 50 gram equals 200 meters. There you go. That's the one, the main color. And I'm holding it double with lace mohair super kid silk from Lang. And this is the color 992.0074, and it has 25 grams equals 310 meters. So hey, the halo is heavenly, and it has a shine from the silk. It's beautiful. So I can't wait to show you the finished shawl. And I'm tempted to add more different stitches. I don't know yet. I keep looking at the shawl in the little TV thingy on my screen instead of looking at you, but I can't wait to hold this shawl finished in my hand. Yeah, I've just only started, so that's my second project of this holiday. I've also went to a bookshop and got myself a little watercolor paper notebook. It's like a diary, and I've also got some pencils, because I hadn't counted on wanting to start to draw, and that's all I've done. The rest is still empty, because frankly I didn't even have the time to draw lots, and what I did was not very good. But I might add some more drawings, and then I will use watercolor, and then it might look better. I felt inspired by two artists who are on the island. They both have shops, and this one here is Doro's Kunststube on Borkum. She is she's painting mainly whales, lighthouses, seagulls, and swimming or bathing people. So I got that one as a postcard, and that one too, which is a painting with an oyster catcher bird. These birds were on the island, on the beach, everywhere, and they are very noisy, but also quite sweet. In fact, in the Wadden Sea, in the sand, there are wooden worms. They are quite long, and they are about 20 centimeters deep in the sand, and these birds, the oyster catcher, apparently is the only one who has a long enough tongue. It's like 24 centimeters long, and they wrap it around the sand worm, and they pull it out completely, and it's the only bird which can do that. All the others only can pull out a bit of it. So it's quite effective bird. The second artist on the island is called Nicole Wenning. Her shop is called Atelier am Meer. And she is also giving painting courses. There you go. There are some QR codes. She has a website. So this is the website. This is Instagram, and that's Facebook. There. And yeah, she is active artist on Borkum for over 25 years, and her works are actually, she paints her works during her travels to Cornwall and also on Borkum. So she's switching where she's painting. She's either on Borkum or she's going to the south of England to Cornwall. Well, not south of England. So to the south of the UK to Cornwall. You can order her paintings, and she's going to send them home to you. And yeah, I really liked her paintings. I don't have an example right here, but if you go to her website, atelier-am-mehr.de, then you can get a glimpse of her works. I was tempted to take a course, but then again, I am already painting in my own style, and I don't want to be told how to do it differently. I don't like to be told anything. That's a fact. So now, the rest I will just show you. Got myself 3mm hooks at Woolworths on Borkum because I thought I might need them for my project. Turned out, no, I didn't. But they are quite cheap, only €1.50 for 2 hooks, ergonomic crochet hooks. I think that's quite good. I got myself a little plushie. It's a crab. And he will go on one of my project bags. Couldn't resist. I'm a child inside. He looked at me from a shelf. No, not my eyes, his eyes. There you go. Take me with you. And then we went to a tea parlor, very old-fashioned one. You know, the Frisians really do like their tea ceremony, and they do it with we each got a little burner and our own little teapot. We chose our own tea, kind of the type of tea we wanted. They had a menu for tea which had several pages. I chose a dark Assam. My mother chose an Earl Grey, and then we each got a tiny little milk jug for the cream or a creamer, and then we had one of these spoons, and you can hang this on the edge of a creamer pot, and then you can take out your cream and pour it into your cup of tea. I took some video of how we did it. However, I did it wrong because you're not supposed to stir your tea with the cream inside. You're supposed to keep the cloud and drink through the cloud of cream. But I stirred mine, so that's that. Also, you get the sugar. It's called Candice. You get them in brown and in white, and it's like chunks of crystallized sugar, like big chunks, like roundish chunks, and you put them at the bottom. And I really like the taste of the brown ones. It's almost caramelized, and when you pour the hot tea on top of them, you hear them cracking, and then the cream together with that all. I really like sweet tea, so that's a perfect combination. I got myself 2 of these cream spoons. I've already got one, but these are stainless steel, so they won't turn black like the other one I've got. That's a silver one, and I am not good in polishing my silver. So I'm planning to go to one of the second-hand shops, and I'm going to get mismatched cups and saucers and teapots, or I might use the ones I've already got. We never know. I got inspired by this place, so I now want to have my own tea parlor. Tea/knitting and crochet parlor. Now that would be perfect. Add a few cats. Heaven. So, spoons. Then I've got real East Frisian tea sweets. 2 of them from a shop. These are for tourists, I suppose, but they're really nice. And yeah, it's just sweets from a tea shop. We've got lots of tea shops there, let me tell you. And our hotel even gave us a little tin of black tea as a farewell gift. So there you go. Paradise for tea lovers. So, I'm a fan of Borkum, and let me show you some of sides of Borkum if you're here for it and up to it. Not much crochet and knitting this time, but let me tell you, I needed a break from everything. So I will see you next time. Bye bye. Keep well, keep safe, and keep crafting. I nearly forgot. We do have a make-along, kind of. I am currently showing you, or I've started to show you, how to make your own colorwork in crochet sweater using a knit chart. And part 1 is uploaded, and I'm going to make part 2 in the next couple of days, I hope. I haven't done anything on it because I didn't have the project with me, but at the moment we're just extending the yoke, and I'm going to take care that it doesn't start to pucker up or to, you know, it should lie flat on the ground until we reach about here, and then we're going to see that we're no longer increasing, so it will naturally curve down around our shoulder area before we start separating for the sleeves when it reaches about here. But that's in part 2 of this Let's Make a Crochet Sweater in color crochet. Keep your eyes peeled.